Hello and welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I'm your host Matt, and I'm here with G and Dylan for this episode of the show. The NBA regular season has come to a close, which means the 2026 playoffs are officially set to tip off. We preview and predict all the first-round matchups and play-in games. Plus, we'll give our finals predictions and who we would vote for to win MVP. Today is April 12th, 2026, and this is episode 210 of the show.
It's good to be back, fellas. Good to hear from you guys again.
It's good to be back.
Love it. Best time of the year, aside from the NFL. This is the only time we kind of get on for these things. It's the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it should be hopefully another decent year of, games. I think last year's Eastern Conference was really good. Western Conference was all right, but
yeah, the wrong team won last year, but hopefully things will be different this year. Be more entertaining. I mean, it's hard to honestly. The Pacers last year, man. I was watching some of their highlights from last year just to get myself ready for these playoffs. It was so good. I think we had it really
magical
good last year. Yeah.
Magical. That was great basketball every night. Couldn't count them out.
Amazing. But we are here to predict the 2026 NBA playoffs. Like we said, we got a lot of games and matchups to cover. But before we get into that, G, where can the people find Sports Counsel?
Well, that's a great question, Matt, and I have a great answer for that. Sports Counsel can be found on all your major social media. So that's Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, whatever it is. There's a great chance we're on there, and we all have the same handle now. So it's sports_counsel. That couldn't be easier. So one time, again, sports_counsel. Go ahead and follow us, and then while you're there, join the Discord link. It's free as well. Come chat with us, especially if there's a team like the Pacers. You're going to want to get a live reaction of what's going on. So this is the best place to find us. Come chat.
Yeah, definitely sports_counsel on all platforms. We just finished up our March Madness tournament, by the way, and we wanted to give a special shout out. Great tournament. You did very well for yourself, G. You got, I believe.
That's why I'm saying.
You got the winner right, at least. I think I got eliminated in, the Sweet 16 or something.
Yeah, I had Michigan to win, and they basically carried my whole bracket. I was like 6th place, but they just kept winning every round, so I was like getting points for it, and it somehow came up second.
Yeah, but first place, we have Harrison Montague, who I presume is a listener, winning the Sports Counsel Bracketology. Congratulations, Harrison, on defeating all of our analysts here. Don't know who you are, but good job.
Yeah, congrats to him, man. It's still impressive, I guess, yeah. Right?
Come on, take us through how you managed to get it all right, or at least the winner right. We very much
yeah, you're the closest.
Yeah, you're a new college basketball analyst. You've been drafted into that.
So now, I just need to decide when we're going to do that episode.
next year.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into it, though. There's a lot to cover here. Let's start with the play-in tournament here. These games literally just finalized. We're trying to be right on top of things, so we literally are recording this right after the final game just hit over on the regular season. So we're the closest to the results here. But let's get into the East play-in tournament. Basically, we all picked our picks and we put it out on the table, so we already see all our picks, and pretty much we have a sweep for both the play-ins, so we don't need to get into that. So we got the Magic 8th seed versus the Sixers 7th seed, and we all pretty much universally went with the Sixers here. I don't know if you guys have a specific explanation for it or not.
I think they're just a better team, and if Joel is out there, I don't think the Magic can stop him. They haven't looked impressive to me, but
And Paulo Banchero had a bad year, or he's not having a great year. So
yeah, and 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane isn't looking like the best decision.
I know, isn't it? They traded 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, and aren't they in the exact same spot where they were last year?
I think they're worse because they were weren't they a playoff team last year or no?
Or they were 7th seed last year, so I think that means they had to win the play-in. But
okay,
basically the same thing. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, this is bad for the Magic. I don't know where you even go because you don't really have any picks. You don't really have a cohesive roster that works together. It's bad year. And Sixers, we'll see what they can do, but I don't think we got them going too far here.
No. And then we have the 10th seed Heat versus the 9th seed Hornets. hey, this is different. I mean, the Heat are back in the play-in. That's per usual. But the Hornets, they've been exciting all year round. They've got Kneppel. I want to say that right.
Yeah, you said it right.
Yep. And we got them all. It's a clean sweep all the way. I was kind of debating on this because the Heat are play-in experts, and they usually get, at least one. So it wouldn't really surprise me if the Heat won this, but we got the Hornets sweep right now.
Yeah, I think that we all just want to see the Hornets play more basketball, right?
They're fun. They're a fun team.
Yeah.
Young group.
I want to see Eric Collins on the call.
He's a good broadcaster. I love watching watching Hornets games with him.
Especially with LaMelo. I think the unpredictability of LaMelo Ball and the way he commentates just works perfectly.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that brings us to the other East play-in 8th seed. So we all got the same matchup, basically. It will be the Hornets versus the Magic. This one, I think, merits a little bit more discussion, but, I mean, you both were taking the Hornets, so why don't you explain that?
I think it's just a personal thing. I don't have, enough, I don't know what the word is, like logic to say, I just really want to see the Hornets play some more basketball. I think they're the better team, and I think they can, at least they'll, I feel like if they get a good shooting night, they can beat anybody because they can get hot. They got just guys that LaMelo and Colin Knippel, Brandon Miller, these guys just get hot. It's hard to stop them, and I just want to see them win. I love to see them in the playoffs. I think it'd be fun to watch them. And Magic, it's just, I'm doing it because I really don't want to see the Magic.
For me, with the Hornets, I just like seeing them shoot 3-pointers. And as G said, like once they get a hot start and they're able to sustain that, it's really fun basketball. It's really fun watching them play basketball compared to the Magic. I mean, this year, I feel like nothing really stands out other than what G said about like the 5 first-round picks traded for Desmond Bane. And like all I hear this whole entire season is Desmond Bane trying to fight people or getting texts. So that's why I picked the Hornets.
Well, unfortunately for you guys, basketball isn't about fun. It's about winning. And I think that the Hornets, while they've been really exciting so far, I was surprised because I've always heard all this Hornets momentum. They're still the 9th seed.
Team. Yeah, but they were one of the hottest teams after the All-Star break. They have like the third best record in the East after the All-Star break. So they've been clicking at the right time. It's just that they were really, really bad to start the season, and that happens, like the Clippers, and we'll talk about them later, but sometimes you can overcome that, and this is only a playing game, so I'm not saying they're that good.
I'm still not convinced, really, about that. I mean, it's still in the Magic's home territory. They're playing in Orlando. I think that there's a little bit of an edge there. I'm going to go with the more experienced play-in team, because I remember I picked the Hornets a couple years ago when they were in the play-in, and they got just embarrassed by that time. I just don't think that they're quite there yet. So I'll give it to the Magic for the 8th seed. But either way, let's move on to the West side. We got the Blazers at the Suns. This was very much till the end, and that's why we had to kind of wait till, the final results, because the Blazers and Clippers were battling between the 8th seed, but the Blazers won tonight, so they will go to Phoenix to play the Suns. We have a Suns sweep here. When we were looking back in hindsight to our picks from the rankings at the beginning of the season, we did not have the Suns anywhere close, and I'm a little bit unsure as to why.
What do you mean? We didn't have them in the top 10?
We didn't have him anywhere in the top 10.
Why is that confusing?
I mean, they're fairly good. I feel like they got Green, Brooks, and Booker. They're all good. They're all scorers. I mean,
we all have them winning this game, but I think that's about.
It's because Blazer ain't that good either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a great answer, Dylan. Yeah, the Blazers aren't very good either. So.
Damn. All right. No love for Denny. Israel's finest.
Oh. Yeah, no. Israel's top secret soldier.
Someone else loves him. Loves Denny. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, but
I'm gonna move on there. Warriors at Clippers.
What a game, fellas. We're here.
We just lost by 5.
Miami Heat East, Miami Heat West here.
I'll remind you.
Playing one more time.
We ranked them 6th in our power rankings at the beginning of the season. The Golden State Warriors.
Well, we had Jimmy tore his ACL.
Yeah. Curry. What?
No.
What was it? Knee injury?
Hamstring? No, hamstring.
Yes. Okay.
Then
And then
Seth with like
I
a
mean,
bunch of injuries.
Seth old, Al Horford old, Kuminga drama.
It's okay. I think we couldn't see what
Just
happened.
retool.
And
Retool
it's
for
gonna be
next
a good
season.
retool year. I think we all have the Clippers listening because we'll get into it on a Warrior podcast, probably like off season. Hopefully we can get somewhere in the lottery, get one of these young great players coming out. There's a deep draft, so maybe even just like jumping up to like 8 would be great. Like it doesn't need to be 1, but a few spots would be great. So I don't know. I
Are
think
you
it's a great year to lose.
as Warriors fans here? All of us here are Warriors fans. If the people don't know, are you rooting to win this game?
No. That's why I picked the Clippers.
I just want them to finish the season and let Steph rest and let Jimmy come back next season.
That's
And
fair.
hopefully somehow we can re-sign Porzingis. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be nice. I'm conflicted between wanting to see more Steph hoops versus doing the smart thing.
Yeah, but this is like empty calories, dude. Like,
Dude, I want to see
like
know,
Steph has
the-
like no support.
the Curry pods, backcourt. Not gonna do anything. He just dropped 30. Means he's getting hot.
There's nothing to be said about that.
Nothing
Like,
there.
Yeah,
Oh
nothing.
my gosh.
Nothing.
Okay, fine.
There's nothing to be said about Pod's 30-point game. Okay.
Clippers versus Blazers then for the 8th seed. I got the Blazers.
Clippers. I got
I got the Clippers. I think it'd be fun to see the Clippers in the playoffs again. I don't think the playing teams in general are going to make any difference, but Clippers Thunder matchup would be good basketball, I think.
Well, how the turntables have turned. You guys derided me about the Clippers, putting them so far ahead. Now we're on the opposite sides of the court here.
I mean, yeah, this is a game against the Blazers again, but it's I don't know. It's just not.
We're just
the
trashing the
are
Blazers.
just-
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're just an
It's just the
unimpressive team
Blazers.
to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like they're just existing
There.
right now. That's
Yeah,
how I
they're there.
describe it.
I'm pretty sure the
They're just
Blazers just
existing.
beat them twice in like the last week or so. So I think the Blazers have the edge in this one. But I get
I
it.
just feel like they're not like. I don't think they have a lot of playoff experience versus the Clippers. I feel like Clippers are way more experienced.
I agree. They definitely are. That's not even up for debate. They're way better, well coached. They should be. And as long as Kawhi's playing, best player on the court, give me him.
Okay. I got my boy Denny. I'm backing my boy.
Your boy. I wonder why you like him.
Don't make assumptions now. But let's move on to the actual playoffs here. The 8th seed. Let's get these out of the way too. I think we're covering just the easiest matchups first. 8th seed versus the Thunder. Whether it's the Blazers or the Clippers, it's either one. But let's face it. We're probably going to talk about the Thunder later in another podcast in the second round because we got the Thunder sweeping all the way. I don't think there's much to discuss here, right, guys?
No, not at all. I
No.
think this will be a pretty easy win for them.
All I gotta say is the Thunder got some TikTokers in there. I feel like they just represent our generation.
I don't want them to represent our generation.
You don't like Jerry McCain?
I didn't say that, but I just don't want them to represent our generation.
Yeah, I hope there's not a dynasty or some crazy shit like that. Like I don't like them like that.
No. 8th seed versus the Pistons. Who do we got? We got the Magic and the Hornets.
Hornets, yeah, 2 Hornet guys and 1 Magic guy. I think I can speak for all of us. We expect the Pistons to put it together and beat the shit out of whoever they play.
Yep.
They are much.
I'm happy for the
improved.
Pistons.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy for the Pistons.
Yeah, I don't think in our lifetimes we've really seen the Pistons like going into a series think like, yeah, the Pistons are going to beat the shit out of this team.
the weirdest thing to
Right?
me is that they're the first seed. I look up and they're just the first seed. I had to look it up, and I was like, I didn't realize they were gonna be top of the East with these kinds of things, right? Like I think we had in our power rankings they were 10th in our power rankings, which is actually pretty good that we included them in the first place. But that is a huge rise. Give credit to Cade, super improved. Jalen Duren, super improved. And then, a lot of core pieces. JB Bickerstaff getting it together. So I'm sure we'll talk more about them as they probably will advance to the second round too.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely hear a lot about them, and I think they're one of the more interesting teams in the East because, it really puts the no experience thing to test, right? Like, how many games can your guys have really played and in the playoffs and really be a contender, right? Like, we're gonna find out between the Pistons and the Spurs later if it matters at all anymore. I don't think it does, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little bit of experience last year against this next team here, which right back where they were last year, the 3rd seed Knicks, they're taking on the 6th seed Atlanta Hawks, which, if you want to talk about hot teams, they were probably the hottest team, I think, after the All-Star break. I feel like they won I don't
Almost
know
every
how
game.
many they won. Yeah, they basically won almost every game, but they were one of the hottest teams. They get out of the play-in hell that the Heat and the Bulls are usually used to, and they actually get into the playoffs for once.
The Bulls got out of it too, though. Shout out to the Bulls.
In a different way, yes.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting matchup. I think this is a little. It depends on whether or not you think that momentum will carry you into the playoffs, whether the Hawks are actually legit, right?
No. I think
No.
the answer is no. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
man.
I think though. I think
agree
in
with
just
G.
grittiness, game will probably have a series. The series will have a game where the score is like 90 to 87 or something. Like it will be one of those series. I just don't think the Hawks can create enough offense to keep up with Jalen Brunson and Cat at the end of the day. Like they could play great defense, which they definitely will. But I just I'm not sure if they can put up the points, man. It's gonna be tough.
I was going to say, I think it's a good opportunity for Jonathan Kuminga to
All right.
finally
All right.
showcase his talents
He
and
doesn't
skills.
even get playing time anymore like that.
You know who doesn't
You
get
wanted
playing
out.
time? Risa Shea.
He wanted out from the Warriors, so I'm just saying, if he really wants that paycheck, he better prove it against the Knicks.
I mean, if he
Yeah,
wants to
that's
do
fair.
like 20 layups when we're down by 20, like he did last year in the playoffs, then yeah, that's great for him. But I don't think the Hawks are relying on him. I think it's Jalen Johnson. Who else is there? Dyson
There's
Daniels.
Dyson Daniels. Yeah, there's
McCollum.
They had CJ McCollum is the most random addition to that team.
They got pieces. I think that this is super impressive by them to be able to get that momentum. But I agree with you guys. I think the Knicks are very experienced. This feels like a very do or die kind of postseason for the Knicks' current iteration.
And I do want to mention one
Yeah.
thing about the Knicks that I like is that obviously you had mentioned they're the 3rd seed, and I'll get a little bit more into my liking for the Knicks if that's can foreshadow anything for you guys out there. I really do think they're well diverse, and like last year, I think last year their 3rd seed was like, hey, Tom Thibodeau is our coach, we can't get subbed out of the game, so we're just gonna. If we play Jalen Brunson 36 minutes, he'll be one of the best teams because, he's playing a lot of backups. They're going to beat teams and they're not going to, take their starters out. But this year, I feel like they got a much deeper team. It's more, I think looking at their ratings and stuff, they're a better offense and defensive rating this year. So even though they're the 3rd seed, it's just because of the other competition, and the East has won more regular season games. I don't think that makes the Knicks any much of a worse team.
Do you think this is a do or die moment for the Knicks? If they fail this year, let's say.
I think for this core, yes. I think for Jalen Brunson and Mike Brown, who just got his first year here, they'll be back next year. I think after that, mostly everybody's kind of playing for their roster spot next year. Cat have a bad playoff series, I think he'll catch a lot of flack and be out, kind of.
I was thinking the opposite.
Mikhail
I was thinking he
Mikhail
might
needs to
be
step up.
That's true. The Villanova boys. I think that Brunson may be traded if,
No way.
maybe get him
No.
for pieces. Get him
No
for
way.
No
pieces.
way. I think there's a
If it-
0% chance they trade Brunson. I think
It might be like Mikhail or Josh Hart.
Stuff
I
that
think
might go
your
early.
Brunson's your best player. You have to keep him.
We'll see.
And he also is a playoff riser, so man, I don't worry about him when the playoffs start.
That's true. I do like Brunson, by the way. I just
I'm a big
you
Brunson
do
fan.
wonder about what Becky Hammond said a couple years ago, where she was like, if your best player is a 6'1" guard, are you able to make the finals? Like only one, player has
see.
ever been able to do that. So
That's true. That is true. But I mean, I don't think the East is that good this year, so I mean, we'll get into it again later here in my predictions, but yeah, I think for now we'll go on to the next series here.
all right, This is the official NBA TV series of the first round, which is the 4 seed Cavs versus the 5th seed Raptors. I did not expect the Raptors again. When I look at the kind of standings, I was shocked to see that the Raptors not only are in the playoffs, but they're the 5th seed, so they were somewhat comfortably in the playoffs. Like,
TJD.
I don't think so. But I mean,
Dylan,
they
what
got
is this?
pieces.
Just like, are you just flexing your Warrior ball knowledge on us? Like, just naming random Warriors on teams that like.
Yo, you forgot
just
Buddy
remember
Hield, bro. You forgot Buddy Hield on the Hawks.
I'm just remembering all the trades we did just to get Porzingis.
Yes, Porzingis, a 2nd round pick, whatever. Got a lot of pieces here though. Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett. I mean, this isn't a half bad Raptors team. And then for the Cavs, they went from the 1 seed to the 4 seed, so a little bit more of a disappointing year, but that's to be expected. It's hard to repeat like that. This one's hard for me though. I don't really know either way. So why don't you guys kick things off here?
I mean, I feel like with the Cavs, they can't beat anybody in a simple, 4 or 5 games. So I think they'll always kind of like, especially when you add James Harden to the roster, it's never really easy in the playoffs, is it? So I think they'll get it done in the first round. It'll just be ugly and it'll be very gritty and, like you said, NBA TV-ish.
When you add James Harden, it
you.
gets more difficult.
Because he doesn't play defense. He's just a turnstile.
And
Turnstile,
day,
dude.
And any day he could just show up and go like 2 for 12 and not play any defense and just kind of like not give a shit. Especially in the playoffs, He has a record of
Harden. I'd love to see it.
A la Rockets.
Is that what you were saying, Dylan?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, as what you talked about with James Harden, like, again, like, he doesn't really play defense. So, and he does take games off. No question about it. I mean, the Cavs has a great coaching staff, but I feel like the roster this year is not as great as last year. So, and just from past season, like the Cavs were like the 1st seed and they were expected to go deep, but they got bounced after like the 2nd round. So that's why I think Cavs, they'll take this round, but as they get deeper into the playoffs, then I think they're going to struggle a little bit.
It's very odd because you both are trashing the Cavs here, and yet we all have the Cavs winning this series.
Because
they got it winning in 7. They always pull it out, but they're just not.
Yes.
Yeah.
They always clear the first round. They always clear the first round. Then that 2nd round.
Yeah, 2nd round ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay,
unfortunately for Donovan Mitchell, the narrative has been set on the 2nd round ceiling, and he's not looking to beat it anytime soon.
That's also probably a place where maybe there needs to be some more shakeup. I'm gonna go with the Raptors. Let's shake things up. I'm gonna go Raptors in 6.
Oh man, in 6 is crazy.
In 6. I mean, again, they got
if you lose in 6 to the Raptors, you gotta blow up the whole team. Maybe the franchise.
The Cavs historically have owned the Raptors, or more LeBron, but we'll see.
That does not fly.
LeBronto
doesn't apply.
10 years ago. I feel old, but 10 years ago. All right, let's get into some more interesting matchups here. Let's go on to the West side. Rockets, 5th seed. Lakers, 4th seed. Always a matter of discussion with these two franchises here. I feel like the wind has been taken out of the Lakers' sails here. They were looking so great. Luka was trying to vie for a late MVP campaign, averaging like 30 points per game. They were hot. And all of a sudden, he hurts his hamstring against OKC. And then Reeves gets hurt. And now it's just LeBron and his little son versus the world. So...
Hey, you forgot Dominating, bro.
I knew that.
Man.
I knew that acquisition was so fucking bad. Like, I didn't say anything, but Ayton has never been that guy. You've known this. Like,
bro, you don't gotta tell me, bro. You do not need to tell me, bro.
He's not that guy. He was never that guy, and he's just a name. But I mean, the Rockets haven't been very impressive either. I think we had them as the 2nd in our power rankings when we started the season, and the 5th seed, and we're not even surprised because it just has looked like they are. It hasn't looked right. Like, they've been disappointing. They've been blowing a lot of leads. late in games. KD's basically their only consistent scorer, but they don't have a point guard facilitating the offense. Ime Udoka's not doing enough on offense. Like, it's the same
Throwing
struggles
players
as
under
last
the
year.
bus.
Yeah, he's just not a good coach, I feel.
I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like we've gotten a bit far at that. No.
Well, when you throw your players under the bus, I'm not really a fan of what you do as a coach. Like, I feel like that's not good coaching.
That's why I wonder how come Doc Rivers is still a coach.
No,
Well,
he
not anymore.
he actually got fired earlier today.
Yep.
But I don't know. I get what you're saying, Matt. You're probably right. They're gonna win this series. I mean, whether they're because they're the better team or just because the other team has nobody else to play, that's up for debate. But they are gonna win this series, and they got a chance to right the wrongs of the regular season now.
Well, this will be the first series they've actually won under Ime Udoka, hopefully.
Which is a step in the right direction, no?
Potentially. I don't think that they're going to get far, especially since they're on the OKC side of the bracket here. But, I mean, yeah, it's kind of beating up on an old man here. I honestly think I would root for the Lakers in this scenario just to see how far LeBron can take them. But I don't know. Because I think the Lakers won all the matchups that, they had against the Rockets, but obviously that was with Luka. If you can double KD,
if Luka was playing, this wouldn't even be a discussion, I think, for me.
If you can double KD and force anyone else on offense, I'm like, I don't even believe in Sengun. Like, if Ayton could defend Sengun and they
fucking
can
rebound, play like a big man.
He can't guard Sengun. What are you talking about?
Said that with absolute venom in your heart, Dylan.
I mean, we've seen him play over the years, right? So we know what to expect. But as G was saying about, like, if Luka, not only Luka, but if Austin Reeves was playing, I think this would have been a wrap, real quick.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think you give at least Luka or Austin Reeves. It doesn't need to be all three of them. I don't know. I think that I would have took the Lakers. I think especially if it was just Luka. If it was just Luka, I think I would probably took the Lakers.
If Luka came back, let's say midway through the series, what would you say?
Is he giving me like 40% of what he can, or is it like close to 100? Then I would probably take the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. If it's Luka close to 100, then yeah, Lakers. If Luka was like 40%, I would lean a little bit more on the Rockets.
I'd still say 40% Luka is enough to beat the Rockets offensively. Yeah.
No way, dude. No way.
He ain't gonna be playing on some. He's not gonna play on some hobbled leg.
Yeah.
40% of Luka is like 19 points. So
Ime is gonna be like, yo, mess up Luka's leg.
He's gonna tell Amen Thompson.
I'm not even joking.
No, it's probably true. He plays physical defense, aka he clotheslines the dude in the midair. Yeah, I could see it. I don't know what kind of German medical team that he's got over there, but I could see it going either way. But I'm gonna go with the Rockets in 6 to safe bet.
Yeah, I got the Rockets in 7. I think we're all kind of aligned on this one. I think they win just because someone has to win, and they're technically just a healthier team.
I say Rockets in 6. The only way I can see Lakers winning if LeBron plays like turns the clock back all the way to like when he was in Cleveland, first stint.
First stint?
No
yeah.
way.
I feel like 2018 LeBron will do.
I think that'd be just fine.
Yeah. First stint.
You're gonna have to do everything.
He's got his son, bro. He's got Bronny. Bronny's gonna start probably in the playoffs. Do you think
No
LeBron
way.
ever thought about that?
I think LeBron bricked up thinking about that.
Whoa.
All right, well let's go to the next series.
Let's move on.
Celtics Sixers. This is probably another easy one here. I think we're all predicting that the Celtics are gonna just dominate them.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I think they'll get a little bit of trouble from the 76ers. I think you get a couple good games out of Joel. You win those games. The rest of them, you can't rely on Joel. You lose those.
Doesn't Embiid? I thought he got appendicitis and he's like done.
He's gonna be back, bro. He can be back still.
Mm-hmm. And I was gonna add on to what G said too. Like, I think Matt and I, we saw the Grizzlies versus the Celtics, and that boy Jason Tatum. Oh my God,
Fuck.
yo man, you need to like. So I feel like Celtics can do the job, definitely with like Payne Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, but I need to see if Jason Tatum can give me like really good, solid offense or actually hit his shots in order for the Celtics to go back to the promised
That's just
land.
going to come to him when it does. He's playing a lot of minutes already, which is a great sign that he's going to be back to Jason Tatum standards. But the shot's kind of going to come by itself, I feel like.
Celtics, I mean, again, not in our power rankings. This is probably our biggest miss of the year. That we thought it was going to be kind of like a reloading year. But, I mean, they're second in the East. They have probably as good a chance as any to come out of that conference.
Yeah, definitely.
Brown, clearly, like, he's an MVP candidate. Probably not going to win it, but he was very good this year. Like you said, Peyton Pritchard, 6-man. There's that guy.
Derek White's
White.
doing great.
They got, like, a couple white guys. They always do in Boston.
Jordan Walsh.
Like,
Hauser.
Got some
Hauser.
cold white guys.
Shireman or something like that.
Shireman, Shireman, yeah.
And, like,
yeah,
I always think, like, who the
Baylor
fuck is this guy?
Shireman.
Yeah. NBA generated, like, 2K ass generated name. But
Literally, bro. It's like when you have nobody left and you're just like, okay, let me just go get Baylor Shireman.
insane.
I'm sorry,
Just
Baylor.
insane.
I hope if you're listening to this, we don't offend you.
It's not a insult. It's a compliment. Good job.
You play great.
With an NPC ass name, you're like helping the Celtics, do this amazing thing. And
yeah,
honestly,
I think this will get pretty bad. And honestly, I think I might change my 6 to 5 or 4 if Joel doesn't play. So if Joel doesn't play, it's a 4. I'm with you guys. I think they win any game that he plays, though.
Yeah,
And I don't think you can get.
I think expecting Joel Embiid to come back fast from an injury is not
And healthy.
a good bet. Yeah,
It's not a good
But he never plays in the playoff healthy anyway, so that's why I'm like, as long as he's out there, like he'll figure out what time, like know how to do it. Because he's never healthy in the playoffs, right? Like,
no.
So,
No love for
yeah.
Maxey Edgecombe.
that would be fun to watch.
At least they're
There's a bet.
interesting. It's interesting.
They're definitely not
right?
gonna NBA TV basketball. That's nice.
Yeah, they might get it one game on ESPN. They get a primetime game.
There you go.
All right, but back to the small market teams here. We're going to go with the 7th seed on the west side. 7th seed Suns, as we all picked them, versus the 2nd seed Spurs, which just made a huge leap with Victor Wembanyama. Again, not on our power rankings to start the season, but they were one of the 3 teams this year to fulfill Phil Jackson's 50 wins versus 20 losses. There are 3 teams that did that this year, I believe. Do you want to guess who the other 2 are?
I'm guessing the Thunder and then the Pistons.
You'd be absolutely correct on that. Usually,
Yeah.
I think Phil Jackson's rule is if you win 50 before you lose 20, you're gonna win. You have a chance to win the championship, and that's proven
Like,
right.
yeah, those
for,
are the
every single
contenders.
one. Yeah, so it's like it's been proven right for like almost every single team that's won the finals. So Spurs, even though they're very young, even though they're ahead of schedule, I think they're in it. They're very much in it.
And then speaking about the series they're in, they're gonna beat the bricks off the Suns.
The breaks. I was like,
Jeez.
when I saw this match, I was like, Spurs or not Spurs, Suns can just pack it up for Cancun.
Yeah, it's gonna get ugly. Some of these first round matchups are just so like lopsided, in my opinion.
Why do you not believe in the Suns?
Who's gonna guard Wemby? How are you gonna contain Wemby?
Mark Williams,
Literally.
bro.
Yeah, you're a delusional man.
Mark Williams.
What
His ball's still there.
what are you gonna do about Stephon Castle?
Stephon Castle. Devin Booker. Dylan Brooks. Yeah, there you go.
What are the Spurs? How are the Spurs gonna stop Dylan Brooks? Am I right, Matt?
It's true, exactly. Can't catch him with a DUI again.
His quote unquote it was 0.
I feel like our NFL analysis is slightly different from our NBA analysis. Who's gonna stop Dylan Brooks?
We're just stating the facts.
Who is gonna stop Dylan Brooks? There's nobody.
They don't have anybody. I mean, I think the biggest thing though Suns versus Spurs here, and I mean the Spurs in general for like all the playoff series, is you're gonna question their experience, right? it's going to be like, oh, what, is this team full of young guys? Are they able to kind of handle that pressure, right? Like we saw that for years with this, like even though like the Celtics with Tatum and Brown on paper, like they were the most talented team for a lot of those East games, like they lost a lot of those series because, they kind of fell under the pressure, whether it was LeBron, whether it was like Jimmy Butler, whether it was Steph in the finals, right? Like they always kind of came up short just because of that experience. So I think that's something to watch for with the Spurs. Like they're really, really young, right? Like they got what?
I don't think that'll be a problem, man. It's just like, who are you comping with? Like, where are the teams with a bunch of experience that are like,
I mean, look
just
at the Thunder. Like I feel like the Thunder
but they
are
don't.
like
They didn't
the
have. They
biggest
don't have that
competition.
much. Yeah, but they're their biggest competition. Agree, but they're built the same way of young guys, and sure they like 2 years ago, like the Spurs, the Thunder weren't shit either, but you were competing, and last year they won it, and they're still a very very young team. So I don't know if that really applies anymore.
And also, like, we were talking about like experience, like most recent Olympics, right? With Wemby losing in the gold medal match, right?
Yeah, he lost. Like, he's a loser. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. But he should know like what it takes. He should understand like why that situation happened and like what he needs to do to not be in that state again.
And some guys that just
like De'Aaron Fox too.
I was gonna say, I just feel like with some guys, it just doesn't apply like regular logic of like, oh, you need to make it through the playoffs to make it your run, and you need to like have to lose playoff series before you win playoff series on any of that. I think they're ready to go, and they shouldn't have any reason not to go.
Well, I think the difference is that, I mean, one, the Thunder last year, they won the championship, right? They were super young, but they did lose the year before that to Luka, right? They were kind of that inexperienced first seed, and then they crashed and burned versus Luka's fourth seed, right? I think that the Spurs, this is the first time they've been in the playoffs in a while. I don't remember the exact date, but I mean, they're big kind of guys in like Wemby, Castle, Harper, right? They've never played in a playoff series in the NBA.
Well, what I would argue with you on that is the point of the example you bring up with the guys not being there. They have Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I don't really count that. What is she gonna tell them? When I lost single-handedly lost the 2016 finals 10 years ago.
I played with Steph and I didn't give him the ball enough.
And I bricked all my shots.
Now he's referring to former Warriors.
But no, my actual kind of rebuttal would be that in that example you give of the Thunder and the Mavs were kind of in a sense of a little bit of a kryptonite for that Thunder team, with Luka just always kind of shredded them. And I don't feel like that's kind of how this matchup has played out so far in between the Spurs and Thunder. I think if they did end up meeting in the Western Conference Finals, which is spoiler, I do have them both meeting in the Western Conference Finals. I think the Spurs aren't thinking like, how can we beat this team? I think they themselves, like, we know how to beat these guys, and we're kind of built to beat these guys. Like, we're not like a team that's like, sure, maybe we don't match up well against the Nuggets or a different team, but they do match up, I think, fairly well against the Thunder. So I don't feel like they're going to be scared in that sense.
Well, unfortunately, the next matchup will be the winner. We'll have to take on the presumptive winner Spurs here, and that will be either the Timberwolves or the Nuggets. So if we get into that matchup, this is a matchup that has happened a lot, actually. And
is it a rivalry now?
I feel like it's always been a rivalry. Like,
right?
Ever since like when they upset them to the defending champion Nuggets to go to the Western Conference Finals. Ever since then,
they beat the shit out of them too, right?
It was. I mean, they won in 7, right? So it was like, it was contested the whole way. I feel like every time they face off against each other too, it's always been like great basketball. So I'm really excited. I think this is probably the best playoff matchup of them all. It's very close, I think, too. The Nuggets are kind of perennially just here as a 3rd seed. Like, Jokic is always the most amazing season of all time, and yet they're the 3rd seed because Murray's inconsistent, Aaron Gordon's on and off hurt, and then the rest.
Jamal Murray.
He's just he can do it sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. So, I mean, and then the Wolves, like, we always perennially have them, like, because we always presume Anthony Edwards is going to keep rising. He's going to be better. And, they're going to get it together. But at the same time, they also kind of disappoint. They just barely make the playoffs as a 6th seed.
But then they also, I think the biggest storyline for them is they're dealing with that Anthony Edwards injury. And he has what they're calling runner's knee. So
yeah, that's not good.
That literally is just not good.
I think that's the same thing Steph had, basically. Like, they were kind of describing it as like it's going to be a management issue for the rest of the season. So
yeah, there's him and Steph are suffering from kind of like the similar thing. And I don't think it's going to be good because if you're going to beat the Nuggets, he's going to have to play quite a few minutes. And I don't think he's cut out for it, unfortunately. Like, I think mentally he wants to, and I'm sure he would love to, and he would play great if he could. It's one of those things where I don't think you can rely on him right now. So I'm gonna go against them here, unfortunately.
I forgot about that. I forgot that Edwards injury. I mean,
yeah.
You guys are both going with the Nuggets, I'm assuming?
I said Nuggets in 5.
I'm going Nuggets in 6.
I'll go Nuggets in 7.
Okay,
I think that the thing with the Timberwolves is that they always leave their best basketball, I feel like, for the postseason. And even with Edwards hurt, I think he's going to, do his best to get out there. They still got Jaden McDaniels out there doing his thing. I think they always play their best. I feel like they always play their best in the playoffs. They kind of upset the Nuggets 2 years ago. They destroyed the Lakers in the Luka LeBron iteration last year. And then they beat the Warriors with the injured Steph kind of, in that round. I feel like they have what it takes to kind of push the Nuggets. But, I mean, Jokic is just dominant. Like, I can't bet against him unless, everything goes wrong for him. And he's not getting any help whatsoever.
And I don't know if that's the case because he's definitely got some help this year. I think Jamal Murray's giving him as one of his best years going into the playoffs, which I think is just kind of deadly in that sense.
If they can just rely on, Murray and Jokic like they did 3 years ago, and then they kind of get enough support from everyone else, like Michael Porter. Like, they need a tertiary option, like Christian Braun, Cam Johnson, who hasn't really panned out too well in replacement for Michael Porter. They need that third option, I think, in order to make a deeper run. But it's a good start.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think unfortunately we're going to get stripped away in this series from some high level basketball, but I think we'll still probably be our best first round series. Maybe this or the unction in the first round.
Which one's the unction?
The Rockets Lakers.
Oh. That's going to be horrible basketball. I think the Rockets Lakers is going to get the most prime time, but it's going to be because I watched those games. They sucked. Like,
I think just like narratively, like the hype wise, like LeBron versus KD wise, like that's just has to be like the best series, and like that's like only some of the, maybe if like you said Luka comes back later in the series, it'll be kind of like one of the closer series, but some of these series are just like, if Anthony Edwards is not good to go, this could have ended in 4 or 5-2. Like all the 1 versus 2 matchups, I feel like are all like basically sweeps or gentleman sweeps, and it's bad.
What do you think has the highest chance of an upset? Like, which one? Like, because Pacers last year, they were the upset kings. I feel like it's the Hawks this year. I could see the Hawks making.
Man, that's a good question.
Being hot.
Can I give you the one team that can make the most Cinderella run of all time?
What is that? Magic?
That's the Golden State Warriors. Let's go, baby.
What's the route they need to do?
Well, all you got to do is win two playoff games, right? I'm gonna tell you the dream here: 2 playing games, and now you're in the playoffs. Now you're in the playoffs, and sure, you got the best team in the league in the OKC Thunder, but they want to be you. That's what you have over them. They are trying to be the next Warriors dynasty. So you just big bro your dynasty that actually is a dynasty against their wanting to be a dynasty team, and then boom, you win. So now you got the second round. You're playing the Rockets or Lakers, bro. Come on, dude. Those are like the 2 suns, you know what I mean? Like, especially if it's KD, like, bro, we don't even got to worry about that. That's an easy win against KD. And then it's like, got the Spurs, and that's going to be difficult.
No, we beat the Spurs when Steph was playing. Easy.
Yeah, if Stephon Castle can't stop Stephen Curry, no one can stop Steph. And then by then, if we're clicking that level, I'm sure Kristaps Porzingis will stop Wemby. And now we're playing.
That's such a hopeful very hopeful.
The Pistons in the
optimistic.
finals. The Pistons in the finals, bro. We could beat everybody else at that point. Come on, bro. Give me the Pistons.
Easy. Okay, I'm sold. All right. Warriors all the way,
right,
baby. First
Now we'll
10 seed.
change everything we just talked about.
First
Update
10
the
seed
list.
to make
Update
it.
the list. Well, the Heat made it, and they were like the 8th seed one time, right? And unfortunately, they're the playing master himself, Jimmy Butler, is not here. But
Damn, bro. That sucks. It's honestly so. I mean, we don't want to talk about the Warriors too much, but it's a cursed ass season. It's just like the 49ers. Like, Butler got hurt, Steph got hurt, Moses Moody with like the worst injury ever. That sucks. I hated the Moody injury.
yeah, he was having a career year all around all off.
Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah, but let's move on, man. Let's move on. Let's give up our finals predictions here. Let's give.
That wasn't the finals prediction.
No, that was what our hearts predictions were, but our real predictions are separate, right?
Yeah, I'll go with the very most predictable, probably Vegas favorite one. I got the Thunder over the Celtics in the finals. I think that the Thunder are just obviously the best team in the league this year. It's crazy because Shea is probably the front runner for MVP, but honestly, when he doesn't even play, they still dominate. And Jalen Williams is finally back from his random injuries that has basically taken him out for most of the season. Chet Holmgren's there. They're just firing on all cylinders. And honestly, they just have insane depth. Like AJ Mitchell, Aaron Wiggins, like all these random fucking role players out there. Lou Dort, Alex Caruso on defense. It's just a very overall hard team to beat top to bottom. They can probably go even 10 deep, 12 deep. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But they're very good. Celtics, I think they're back on top in the East. I trust them a little bit more than the Pistons in this case, in terms of experience. But this is going to be another hard loss for them in the finals to the Thunder.
I'll go next.
Damn.
I picked similar to you, Matt, but instead of the Celtics, it's the Pistons. So I would say Thunder over the Pistons. And I don't know. Going on my gut feeling this year about what Pistons are able to do. And I just want to see something a little bit different this year. Because I think for the longest time, like Pistons have been down in the dumps. But now they turned it around. But I just think that it's not enough to overcome the Thunder based on how deep the Thunder is and how young they are. And they still have such a big window to win more championships. So that's just my take.
Not the Knicks, bro. Not your New
I know,
York buddies.
Well, I still believe them. I still believe them, but I don't know.
Your
So
power
maybe
of
he's not
friendship.
coming to the game
Yeah.
anymore. Is that what it is?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Well, Mike Brown did turn them around a little, or Mike Brown did help elevate them a little bit more. But it's just like, Cat. I'm worried about Cat, dude.
There's
Well-
never a time to not worry about Cat.
Well, let me go next here as I'm the last one here. You guys answer. You guys let me know. What do you guys think? Should I paint the picture for the East or the West first?
Let's hear your West.
West, easy. Let's do it. So obviously we kind of mentioned, I think we all have the Spurs, Thunder, Western Conference Finals, and in that series, the Demons will be too big for the Thunders to really exercise. They haven't been able to beat them all year. I think the Spurs have their number. I think the Spurs are kind of built for it. They're mentally feel like for them, we need to beat the Thunder. Like that is their calling in a sense. And I totally am bought in on them. We'll see if experience matters, but I don't think it will. And jumping over to the East, you got a bunch of good first round or second round matchups. So you'll have your Cavs, Pistons, and then I would have the Celtics, Knicks. I actually take the Knicks over the Celtics in that. I think everybody's kind of in over their schemes with the Celtics. I think they fair and square lost to the Knicks last year, and I think this Knicks team is better than they were last year. So. I understand Tatum is back, but Tatum was there last year when the Knicks were up 3-1 against the Celtics. So I think that you can kind of look at it how you want, but the Knicks are healthier. We don't know what exactly to expect for Tatum, and I think they'll beat him there. And then you get the Knicks Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that'll be a very tough series because I think Duran will give Cat many problems, but. I don't think they can stop Jalen Brunson. And now you got the Knicks in the finals and losing to the San Antonio Spurs. I think Wemby gets it done.
Whoa.
I think he's the GOAT that was meant to be, and he'll beat the Knicks. I think the Knicks making the finals will be like the season is a win already. You know what I mean? Like that's
They haven't won in a long time either.
Who, the Knicks or the Spurs?
Knicks.
Well, they haven't made a finals in like a million years either. So I feel like just making the finals is like the clearing the hurdle for them in a sense, right?
Don't you ever get the feeling like the Knicks are the Cowboys of the NBA? Like, aren't they just like everyone gives them huge expectations, but they haven't made the like. What they haven't.
But they're
made the
good.
finals
They're
in the
actually a
longest
good
time.
team, though. They're like the third best offense and like the eighth best defense.
Cowboys have had some years like that.
Very few, and they've always been kind of fluky. Like we've always kind of been able to see through them.
I mean, I'm starting to lose hope on the Knicks at this point. That's the thing.
I think
They
this
don't
year
make
is
it
their
this
year
year.
because I think this year is their year. I feel like they're better coached, and that is a huge thing for kind of like their setup. They played a lot of their star players that played less minutes going into the playoffs. I know that type of stuff doesn't really show up on the stats. Like, what does that translate to? It's just that it's just the vibes of the team are a little bit better. I think Thibodeau always kind of had a ceiling as a coach, so he's not the guy that's going to get you there. And maybe it's not fair to say that when Mike Brown's their current coach, but I don't know. I like it. I like what they got going on.
A bald coach has never won the NBA Finals before.
Where'd you find that fact?
I think I on Reddit or something. So that rules out a lot of Pistons won't be able to do it. Knicks can't do it.
My Spurs pick is still good then.
Yeah, I think he still has hair, right?
Yeah, Mitch Johnson.
I will give you the Spurs over the Thunder. I did forget that the Spurs have had the Thunder's number. They beat them like twice in like a week or something. And
Yeah, they've been owning them. They take it very personally. So I think as long as they don't like foresee the matchups in front of them and they're able to kind of like deal with the Thunder when the Thunder are actually there, because I think they have a much bigger and troubling second round matchup with the Nuggets. I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle for the Spurs to overcome. It's like kind of like a matchup thing, right? Like the Timberwolves healthy are really hard matchup for the Nuggets, but I think the Spurs would destroy the Timberwolves, but the Nuggets give a lot of trouble to the Spurs, right? Like
it's so annoying that the Thunder, they have a cakewalk right now as it stands. I mean, they're going to get whatever the crap, 8 seed is, and then they got either the old-ass Lakers or the old-ass Rockets. Like, that's not going to happen.
I would love for Luka and Austin Reeves to come back and play that Thunder team in the second round, bro.
Even if that happens, they got obliterated last time anyway. So I don't think it's going to matter.
No, I mean, I think in the playoffs it's different. It's hard. I can't be like Luka's going to give me 40 a night when he's coming back off a hamstring injury, But he literally did do that last time. I think that year they made the Western Conference Finals. He was the first round where Jalen Brunson kind of emerged. He was coming off an injury, and that's why Jalen Brunson was able to emerge.
Yeah, it was the Suns series, I think. So, I mean, they need a center to come up against OKC. That's the thing. Wemby's there, but they got Ayton. So,
Ayton, you can't trust Ayton.
Exactly. Not going to happen. Or Jackson Hayes.
You only have Jackson Hayes, but he's only playing like limited minutes.
I mean, he's not good. So, it doesn't really matter. All right. MVP votes. So, this is different. We're not going to pick who we think is going to be MVP. We're going to pick on who we would vote for MVP. So that's different. If Sports Counsel was given 3 MVP votes, who would you vote MVP for the season?
Yeah, I'll start us off. I went last time. I think I got the standard betting favorite. I think overall, man, who's ended up getting the MVP and deservedly so, in my opinion, SGA. I think he's averaging 30-plus points. And the first seed, his second best player has been out all year, and he's been kind of carrying the team. They're just as good team as they were last year, which is almost historic. And there's no reason for me not to give it to him. I understand a lot of other guys have done a lot of other impressive things, but he has the 1 seed. He's the defending champ. He's given me no reason. He's the first guard ever to average over 30 points on 55% field goal percentage, which is ridiculous. That means he just is literally like, that's like a center stat usually because they just take a bunch of hook shots or dunks. So I think that's very impressive. I think he does a lot of things that, in terms of just holding the team down and, keeping the morale up of their young guys. That's impressive stuff that he does.
For me, I think that my MVP vote goes to Jokic. I mean, for the past however many seasons, like he's been like just averaging a triple double, and all these years it shows that how important he is to the Nuggets team / organization, right? Like I think what G mentioned earlier, like Jamal Murray, or even you, Matt, like Jamal Murray, he's like inconsistent. Aaron Gordon, like injury. Then like,
but Jamal Murray's been playing very good this year, though. He's been playing at all NBA levels. So it's like, yes, he's inconsistent in the regular seasons, but like this year he's been really good. So that doesn't really help Jokic's MVP case, in my opinion.
But to me, MVP is like just to showcase like how important you are to the team and like how
but your team is, if his team is better than, and he was like his second best player wasn't playing, then like wouldn't.
But his second best player is better probably than Shea's second best player. But Shea's entire team is like basically every single one is a perfect role player. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean I get that, but we're not gonna act like Shea doesn't average 30-something points himself, and he's not a very good defensive player and shooting, like I said, lights out. And I don't know what else do you want the guy to do.
And I think like Jokic, like how consistent each season and like how many the stats that he put up. I feel like there's other people out there who are kind of like not overthinking it. I'm trying to find the word for it, but it's just like they're so used to see him like produce like a triple double where it's like kind of it becomes undervalued.
Yeah.
So that's why I got to go with Jokic.
No, I agree with that, Dylan. Like I totally agree with that. Like I think the numbers that we're seeing from Jokic have been normalized somehow. Like this is not what you're supposed to see from a center to average basically a triple-double. This season, he is averaging a triple-double in all of his stats, like 27 points per game, almost 13 rebounds, almost 11 assists per game. That's unheard of.
Leading NBA assists and rebounds.
Yeah, only Westbrook has done that, and he got the MVP that year. Therefore, my vote is for Nikola Jokic to win MVP, because it's not even just kind of a little bit empty calories like Russell Westbrook was, and he only led his team to the 6th seed. They're the 3rd seed right now in the West. And, that's pretty impressive, especially with, his inconsistent kind of roster, first head coach. Like, this is the, first-year head coach for him? Kind of. But,
Yeah, first full year.
Yeah, first full year. Jamal Murray, inconsistent, like you said. Michael Porter's not there.
He's not
Cam Johnson sucks.
Though. He's been playing at all NBA level this year. Come on, what are we talking about?
Do we count? Is that all NBA level just because everybody else is ineligible or what?
No, because he's been 3rd team, sure, but he's been playing really, really well.
All I'm saying is that I don't think that Jamal Murray is at the top of my list for second options.
So he's not, of course not. I agree with that, but at least he consistently played this year, and whereas J-Dub did not play at all, basically, I don't even know what was going on, and now you have the guy who played better than he did last year and won the MVP last year. I don't know.
But let's just say that again. I mean, we do these MVP debates every time, and they're overplayed. But if you take Jokic off the Nuggets and Shea off the Thunder, who would you expect to have a better record? I feel like the Nuggets would just bottom out entirely. That's the thing.
Well, if J-Dub didn't play all year, then I would expect the Thunder to be pretty bad.
I feel like, I don't even know, what. You could probably replicate the production of, AJ Mitchell, It's just a lot of...
replicate SGA's production with AJ Mitchell. All right.
No, I'm saying AJ Mitchell, Aaron Wiggins, all of these players, right? Obviously, Shea has some kind of gravity to him, right? You want to defend him in the mid-range and stuff like that. But Jokic is literally just a one-man wrecking machine, right? And he basically facilitates the entire offense.
He also doesn't play a lick of defense. He's an absolute cone.
Jokic is my pick for MVP, man. It's just because he means so much to that team. He does so much for that team. He's pretty much the only force that's driving this team to even be a contender at all, even to be in the conversation. I think that's the reason why he should be MVP. Like you can't like it's hard to not reward this guy for what he's done. Like it's insane to me that we were saying, oh, this is not an MVP season. Right.
I'm not saying it's not an MVP season. There's obviously, I would even argue, it can be made that Wembanyama is having an MVP season. And
Yeah.
he's just, literally breaking, numbers for efficiency and plus minus and all these different things. So it's not like the guys aren't all having MVP seasons. So that's not how it works, right? It's not like the Golden Glove where everybody can get one, if you have in one type of season or something. This is like, and one individual has to win it. I think that if this was last year, yes, I would say that SGA probably doesn't deserve the MVP in comparison to Jokic this year. But that's not how it works,
I honestly
There's
thought
multiple guys winning. I think are MVP seasons, caliber seasons.
Yeah, and that's why I think that even though SGA is doing like career highs and probably points, Jokic is doing it in a lot of different categories, and that's why I'm saying that he should be MVP.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair argument. I mean I'm not gonna act like it's like saying Jokic MVP is crazy.
Yeah.
So I respect it. I mean I just see it as a SGA, but I mean.
No, I totally get it. And to factor in all the 65 game season things. I mean, do you guys even like that rule, the 65 game thing? I think it should be flexible.
Nah.
I don't think for the MVP they need it. I don't think they're going to give it an MVP to someone that's played like 30 games anyways. I don't think that needs to be protected. I think if you want to do it for all NBA, like there should be like a tier system, maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know, 65 for all NBA first team, but 55 for second team, and then 45, or it just doesn't matter for third team, right? Like,
yeah. I feel like it should be based on minutes too. Like if it should be an either or kind of thing where it's like 65 games or this many minutes played, because like Wembanyama, like the big controversy is that he's played 65 games but 20 minutes, like
he's playing the bare minimum amount of nights to collect a game played for this award, right?
Yeah, so it's just like it doesn't seem very well thought out.
Fair.
And it's kind of messing with people's incentives, contracts. If you can't make NBA second team because you didn't play enough games for this thing, now you can't get this level of contract, like you can't get the max here. So it's gonna affect these games. Like Luka is probably not going to be eligible for MVP, even though he was having a very, very good season on his own. So,
well, I think his petition thing is going to get passed.
Maybe. I don't know. The paternity thing?
Yeah, the paternity thing, yeah.
Probably not the best way to phrase it, but yes.
No, it was a paternity leave, and I think that game, that absence does not fall again, or that can't be counted against you for this, so he should get the game as like a no-show or something. I don't know. I think he should be eligible for the awards eventually. I was reading on this. Yeah.
Because eventually, like, that just makes history and legacy kind of meaningless. Like, because as much as we hate to admit it, when you say, oh, he had an MVP season this year, or it's like all NBA first team, like, that's how you kind of remember the kind of season that they had. Right, and if you get rid of those kinds of acknowledgments, then it kind of devalues kind of a part of their legacy.
Right. I mean, a great example would be Cade Cunningham. I think, like, if you said that, like, let's say he didn't meet the game threshold, like, there's no way he shouldn't be one of the 5 or 6 All-NBA, like, he's a All-NBA first team or second team player. And then when you look back at this year in 2026, and if he didn't play 64 games and it wasn't eligible, you'd be like, I wouldn't even know what happened because, like, he's not in any of the stats or he's not in the thing, like where you look at the All-NBA, you'd be like, he only had 2. Where was his first team? He never had it first. Well, he didn't get enough games.
It's
it affects
ridiculous
legacy
to leave him out like that. Yeah. So Adam Silver, fix this shit. Also suspend Kawhi and the Clippers. We didn't forget, by the way. I don't know what's holding you up, but you got to get on that shit. I'm not gonna forget.
I think he's just waiting for the season to start, right? Or season end. To
suspend
Kawhi's contract and let him sign.
He said he's gonna wait until like the All-Star game. Well, jeez, wouldn't mind. Feels a little slimy, but I mean, do we have to pay him like under the table too, or giving him like a
pay him
run
to his
or
uncle?
Oh no. Well, we'll see how that goes, but that is going to do it for today's postseason preview for the NBA playoffs from Sports Counsel. You can find more Sports Counsel episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts from. Don't forget to follow our social media platforms, sports_counsel, and in the link of those, in the bio of those, you'll find a link to our Discord where you can discuss all the NBA postseason basketball that's taking place. We will definitely be in there. We'll be having a blast. Hopefully we'll have some good playoff series. Based on our uniformity, I'm a little concerned about that, but I'm sure it'll always surprise us.
I don't think there's anything to be concerned of.
You don't think it's going to be another boring Thunder, Thunder dominate throughout the entire playoffs? That's my
that could happen. I thought you kind of mostly meant that like we're all like kind of picking the same teams in every round, and that usually never means we're right. So that means we're almost wrong in every single series.
Yeah, shit. It's gonna be the Magic. It's gonna be Magic versus Clippers or some shit.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.
See you.
See ya.